Hello there, this is the guy that tested Atalanta Supreme Plus Q but didn't record in time, and welcome to this AFK journey video. So yeah, like mentioned over here, or rather as you guys can see on screen right here, I actually wanted to record Atalanta's Supreme Plus Q evolution or level up replay today, but unfortunately the Pioneer server shut down on me. So in today's video, I will just be verbally discussing my experience using Atalanta Supreme Plus Q and talk about whether or not the Supreme Plus Q is worth it. Okay, so for this one, we will revert back into my main account. So the reason why I'm not able to show you guys like Atalanta's Supreme Plus Q upgrade, at least right now, is because all my accounts don't have Atalanta built up to Supreme Plus. So I don't think I'm gonna devote more resources into her. Like, the reason why she's Legendary Plus is probably because I got like some copies of her from the S level Soul Sigils. That's why she's at the Legendary tier. But in most cases, I have never encouraged anyone to go for her since the start of the game, and never had I actually put her on the wish list or the epic wish list before. So this is a very slow build up, and she's not Supreme Plus tier yet, unfortunately. But for those of you guys who do not know, she did get a level 2 upgrade right here, where when she's casting her Sweet Encounter, she's unaffected and increases her haste by 60. And if Sweet Encounter knocks the enemy target into another one, you reduce both their physical defense by 40% for 8 seconds. So for those of you guys who have never seen Atalanta before, or doesn't know what Sweet Encounter is, it is the second skill where she swings the whip and then sends one unit flying towards the back. And if there's an enemy at the back, you will be able to immobilize both the targets. So Atalanta is actually quite annoying in the normal PvE stages, where if you see an Atalanta, you sort of have to reposition your unit in a way such that the Sweet Encounter will not control too many units at once. So this is actually a pretty powerful skill, and when you combine that with the ability to use it while she's unaffected with increased haste to increase the casting animation, there is some utility for Atalanta to be a pretty good or decent at the start of the battle control unit, because she casts Sweet Encounter immediately when the battle starts, even though there's a 12-second cooldown, but the very first one is at the start of battle. So when she's using this skill, she's unaffected, and after that, she will be able to power onto the enemy because she reduces their physical defense, and then she has quite a fair bit of damage here, and also quite a fair bit of AoE with stun here. But the thing about Atalanta is, I do think that if you were to upgrade her to Supreme Plus skill and get her to this level 2 Supreme Plus skill over here, she is a very niche usable character for her ability to stun at the start of battle. But based on my experience, she's not that good damage dealing wise. There is a bit of RNG factor because she will be flying around with the wild sniper, which is uncontrollable in PvP. So that's definitely not one thing you want for your main carry or for a unit that you want to use as your DPS, cause like this sort of decreases their survival and then they will die more easily. And then with Scorching Gift right here, you do get this decent AoE damage, but the numbers are pretty low compared to some of the more meta damage dealers. So in general, despite having this additional utility to see some use as this initial at the start of battle control and debuffer for the light barrel teams or control teams in general, I still think that Atalanta is a pretty niche unit that you probably don't want to go for, because like by the time you upgrade her to Supreme Plus, I guess there could be even more meta units coming up. And even if you upgrade her to this Supreme Plus tier with the Supreme Plus upgrade, the only place where she will see some use would be the AFK, I mean the PvP side, right? Not used in Dream Realm because Sweet Encounter cannot knock the boss back, so you can't reduce the physical defense, and definitely not AFK stage pushing side, cause like this one has a little bit of control, but then in terms of the AFK stage pushing side, you need continuous control against the enemy. So yeah, that's pretty much my evaluation for Atalanta. Because if you were to compare between Atalanta and Soren, the only reason why I did Soren first was because I actually am close to Soren Supreme Plus, and I do think that Soren as a PvP character has a lot more utility compared to Atalanta even without the Supreme Plus skill upgrade. So Soren has always seen some use in and out as a control unit in the Mauler faction or with Mauler teams in general, so that's why Soren was of my higher priority. For Atalanta's case, she is definitely going to become more viable in the PvP side, but I honestly won't recommend anyone to invest in her. I haven't recommended anyone investing in her since the start, and even with this upgrade, I still think that she's a very fringe character. So yep, that's pretty much it with regards to Atalanta. If there's any of you guys out there watching this video who is a massive lover for Atalanta and you want to prove me wrong or prove, you know, whoever else wrong that Atalanta is actually a great unit with this upgrade, and you have the replace, feel free to DM me on Discord or just share it with me within the global server, because we are now finally linked together. Thank you very much for tuning in. Do remember to like and subscribe to see more. I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys!